using the Pythagorean identity. So the topic is use Pythagorean identity. So here's the right way to write it, which is sine squared theta plus cos squared theta equal to 1. So this is what we are going to use now. Okay, so typically there is a way they frame the question. They will, you see how many we will have two variables here, which is sine of theta and cos of theta, and every one of these is in unit circle. So so let's start by drawing a circle. Okay, let's start by drawing our unit circle, and then we'll see the possibility. So draw a unit circle with your point and the axis. Okay, so unit circle means that the radius is 1. Okay, and it means that the y here is plus sine plus y, and then plus x. On the other hand, if you have this unit circle, on this side, this is first quadrant. We all know that, right? So this is the first quadrant here, quadrant 1, quadrant 1. This is the second quadrant. You can call it quad 2, you know that. And this is the third quadrant, quad 3, and this is the fourth quadrant, quad 4. Okay, so now in each of these quadrants, the trig ratios could either be positive or negative. But the only way you can determine that is if you just draw a visual, something that this type of thing that I'm drawing. So if you have a theta here, this means that y is positive here, plus y, and x is negative x. On the other hand, if this is radius 1, if you have your angle on the third quadrant, you will see that both y is negative y and x is negative. If you draw it on this, you will discover that x is positive and y is negative y. So all these things what I just sketched right now, the advantage is it is going to help us to determine if sine in the first quadrant is positive, if cosine in the first quadrant is positive. And then it helps us to determine, the sign of each of these trigonometric ratios in each of the quadrants. So there is a little chart I will give you right now. So that it's going to make everything a lot easier, or you can use it as a reference point. So draw a chart, draw something like this. So in each of these quadrants, I'm going to give you a reference. So you can call this quad 1, quad 2, and then quad 3, and then quad 4. Okay, so here all of them has the trig ratios: sine theta, cos theta, and then tangent theta. Start with sine theta, cos theta, and then tangent theta. This one also has it. Sine theta, cos theta tangent theta. And then this one has it, the same thing. Okay, so now what this chart is going to help us is to identify whether the trig ratio in each quadrant, whether it is positive or negative. So in this case, everything is positive. So this is positive, positive, positive. In this case, sine is positive, sine theta is positive, cos theta is negative, and then tangent theta is negative. In the third quadrant, sine theta is negative, cos theta is negative, and tangent theta is positive. Then on quadrant 4, sine theta is negative, cos theta is positive, and tangent theta is negative. So right now, use this as a reference. In the next class, I will show you how they obtain this positive and negative, but you can see them. You can see them when you try to do the sine or the cos using this drawing that I just gave you here. Okay, so having said that, so this is right now, we are going to just use it as a reference. So having said that, here's the next thing that we need to do. The question usually comes, given that, hold on a second. Okay, given that cos theta is 3/5. Question.
Given the cos theta is equal to 3/5 and angle is quadrant 1,
It's
find
in quadrant 1. Yeah, go ahead.
sin theta.
Okay, yeah, find sine theta.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the question. I need to open another page. That's the question. So make sure you have this question and make sure you have this the charts in your paper, because I'm going to open another screen and I'm not coming back here. See, there are
Wait,
things.
Mr. Octavio, can you please go back up?
Yes. So they are just basically telling us that the sine theta is right here. The same sine theta could be in the second quadrant. It could be in the third quadrant. So if it is in the first quadrant, it means sine theta is positive. If it is in the third quadrant, it means sine theta is negative. If it is in the fourth quadrant, it means sine theta is negative. That's the purpose of this chart that I just gave you. Okay, so I'm going to go to another screen right now. Okay, so just because they told us quadrant 1, so we just sketch solution, sketch your circle very fast. Radius is 1. This is your angle, theta, and given cos theta is equal to 3/5. Now, we have a formula, which is the Pythagorean identity. We have a formula. So that Pythagorean identity is sine squared theta plus cos squared theta is equal to 1. If you like, you can write 1/1. All right? So now they gave us cos squared theta, right? So they gave us cos squared theta. So then you write sine squared theta is equal to, no, not equal to, plus 3/5 whole squared equal to 1/1. So 3 squared is, so sine squared theta is equal to, no, not equal to, 3 squared is 9 and 5 squared is 25 equal to 1/1. So how do we solve for sine theta? Look at the expression now. How do we solve for sine theta? Move 9/5 to the right side. And if you move it to the right side, it becomes negative. True or false?
True.
Okay, so you write your sine square theta is equal to 1/1 minus 9/25. Now this becomes, this is a simple algebraic manipulation of fractions. So I'm going to give everybody 1 minute to solve it. Just give me the solution to the right side. The right side only. Forget about the left side. So sine square theta is equal to, I need solution. You have 1 minute to do that. Everybody. That means simplify the right side. I need it in fraction, not in decimal. You have 1 minute. And if you finish, you can type your answer in the chat box and make it private. Don't post it public. I don't want another person to see your answer until I announce it. I don't want decimal. You have to bring it in fraction. So let me see. Okay, the following has submitted. Johnny, Christina, Micah, Vivian, Mohammed. What about the rest? Carmen has submitted.
Mr. Kim,
Yes.
why are we supposed to turn that working?
Type it on the chat section. Make it private. Don't post it as a public comment. Comment on the chat section privately to me. I have seen Christian has submitted. Okay, I've seen different answers. Okay, so let's move on. Let's verify it. Let's verify it. Let's verify what is submitted. Okay, so there is a very easy way of doing this. Because this thing is 1/1, you can just make it any whole number to correspond with this denominator, because it is 1/1. Anytime you have 1/1, you can change this 1/1 to the number corresponding to the denominator. So you can write 25/25 minus 9/25. You can see 25 divided by 25 is 1, 1. So it's the same number. You just wrote it in a way that it makes more sense to you. Then a common denominator is 25. And then you just do 25 minus 9. And that gives us what? So sine square theta is, what is 25 minus 9?
16.
16/25. So some of you got this. Okay, some of you got this solution. So look at your paper. If you did not get 16/25, fix it, correct it. All right. So if you did not get 16/25, you can correct it now. So now,
is it okay if I simplified it? Because
yes, if you simplified it and wrote, what's the is there any lowest term?
4/5.
4/5 wouldn't be correct, because
I don't think.
4/5 will not be correct. The reason is 25 doesn't have 4.
No, if you divide it by 2. Wait, by, never mind. I see what I did.
Yeah, so you can only divide with a common, factor.
Mr. Ikebu, can you go
Yes.
back up real quick?
Yes. So you can only divide with a common factor, okay? For example, if this number, for example, let me give you another example now. If this number were to be something like 16/20, if this number were to be something like 16/20, you can simplify by dividing both sides by 4. So 16 divided by 4 gives you 4. 20 divided by 4 gives you 5. Okay? All right. So now, remember the question says that we should be solving for sine theta, right? So sine theta is going to be, you take a square root on both sides, which is 16/25. And then here you can simplify. So sine theta is going to be 4 over 5. So it is sine theta that is 4 over 5. It is not sine square theta that was 4 over 5. So this point is correct. This point is also correct. So now you can see in this particular Pythagorean theorem, guess what it taught you, or at least it's making you do? What do you call this type of mathematics that we just did right now? What do you call this type of mathematics or arithmetic?
Subtraction.
Yeah, subtraction of fraction, simplification of fraction.